My guest in the studio, coast to coast and worldwide on the Good Life Revolution, Apolo Ohno. No athlete has ever won more Olympic gold medals than you have. Nobody's ever done it. You're still the man, and probably will be for the rest of eternity. And it's great having you, on the show today. And Rod Howe has joined us today. Now, I know Rod from many years ago. When this guy was a teenager, he was setting the world on fire as a business entrepreneur, coaching millions of people. We became friends years ago. Rod was a regular guest on the show. Now, the two of you have teamed up, one of the most powerful combinations of business and sports. But I'm not so sure that he's going to be able to keep up to you in the business world from what I've seen so far, bro. You are ridiculous at business. I just want to bottle you and sell it. Actually, that's a good idea. That's what you've done with Allysian.
That's what we're doing.
So what are you guys doing? How did you team up? How did you get to know each other? What's going on? Rod, talk to me.
We met a number of years ago in Las Vegas, and fascinated by his accomplishments. Apolo undoubtedly, is a winner in every aspect of his life. And when we met through mutual friends, and we just kind of started bumping ideas and found that there was fundamentally a lot of synergies in the way we thought and what we wanted to accomplish together. We started looking at different businesses, started traveling around the world, and started collaborating on a number of ventures, and it became very successful.
Let me ask you a question about your business partner, Apolo Ohno. Mm-hmm. Did you have any idea when you were watching him win gold medals, skating years ago, that he would be as prolific or potentially even more prolific as a businessman and an entrepreneur than an Olympic athlete?
Right, I didn't think it was possible. He was undoubtedly a very elite of his field, and to be able to have that type of competitive nature and transcend that into business, it was an amazing transition.
Well, if I was watching this video and looking for a business opportunity and I found a business that you were involved with, both of you, that I could get involved with, there's nothing to think about. Just watching the way you perform and the way you've been able to take the skills that have honed you as an individual, as a human being, in sports and now in business, it's remarkable to see this happening. So talk to me about what your goals are with Allysian and what this partnership means to you, Apolo.
Sure. I'll give you some background information. So Rod and I have done many different businesses together. We've been business partners in different ventures for a long time. When we first met, we knew we had synergies in the nutraceutical space. I was fascinated with health supplements, vitamins, minerals, improving human performance in all capacities. Rod obviously was the #1 performer in perhaps one of the world's largest organizations, a multi-billion-dollar a year company, and at the youngest age. So we had a lot of synergies and similarities, right? I made my first team when I was very, very young. I went to the Olympic Games when I was 19, Rod being at the top of his game in his late teens and obviously in his early 20s. I was 18, 19 years old at my first Olympic Games. Rod was performing at the top elite level of his business, which was generating millions of followers and people who just were yearning to hear from this young entrepreneur businessman who had the success, drive, knowledge, and passion. So although we were in two separate areas of the world, right? We were in two different businesses per se. Mine was sport. His was, in the Amway, in the MLM space. We shared a lot of the same similarities from an attributes perspective. And so we noticed that very early on, but we didn't know what business we wanted to do. I think the #1 caveat that we had was we weren't happy with the way current MLM businesses or the way current supplement companies ran their business. We thought it was kind of, not old school, but just not what we wanted to portray today. I wanted to change. I think Rod wanted to change. He said, look, if I get back into this business, I'm not going to do it as a distributor. I want to be an owner so I can help change the culture. He wanted to do it from the top down. And that was interesting to me because we were going to do something that was totally different. Right? We were going to follow the same linear path that the next company did and copy this. Let's do something different. Let's change and shake up the industry. Let's do something exciting and new that's going to be able to engage with people and have them be a part of this incredible movement and desire to change the world. We talked about it before, we were doing our segments before, Jesse, and I think people now are searching for a team or organization, partnership / family to be a part of to where they feel they are doing something right. Never before in the history of academics have we seen such a large progress and index of university grade students who are looking to, when they choose their employer, they're also looking, does this employer or does this company align with the values that I believe in internally? Right? Before it was just like, okay, how much money can I make? Right? Which is, then look, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think they're also taking it a step further. I want to make a great living and also be able to go to sleep at night feeling like I made a big difference in people's lives. And Rod came into this business again and into this space in Allysian because he wanted and was not satisfied with the products that were available to his family. And you know this from, I mean, look, you might take something yourself that you wouldn't give your kids, right? But when it comes to your kids, nothing but the best. You're willing to sacrifice that. And I think that's what brings so much level of, that he just brings something very unique in that aspect. He can relate. He got 4 boys.
Yeah, 4 boys.
You know, he's had kids, when he was very young, but he's been able to grow up with these kids, they're great kids. And now, they're growing older, right? One's getting ready for college. I can't believe it. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
And he's not happy with the way that, or the type of supplements that he can give them. So when we're talking about total overall health, now, and I'm excluding brain health and cognitive functioning, but you just purely want your family to be healthy at the end of the day. That's what happiness comes from. Your loved ones, your core circle. If people are happy and healthy, life is good. Life is very good. That's where it really stems from. And that's what I think was so interesting for me, was to be able to, I don't have kids yet, I love kids, but Rod was able to speak from that perspective and say, Apolo, I can't have the confidence to be able to give my kids unless it is going to be the best. And that's where the synergies really came into play, is that we had the same mindset, the same linear goals. It came from, first, super high, best of the best quality products and ingredients. And then from there, we wanted to share this, not just with our families and friends, but go a step further, and then we can go we can go global. Right? And that's where it gets really exciting.
Rod, you were the hottest young distributor in the world's largest direct sales organization. At the time, it was doing about $13.5 billion a year. And you were absolutely on fire in that organization and mentored hundreds of thousands of people around the world. There's an X factor that exists here that I have not seen in a company before, including the one I'm talking about that was doing $13.5 billion a year when you were involved. And it's got to be this guy's DNA. I've just never seen anybody like this guy, Apolo Ohno. And the fact that the two of you have collided, this company is going to revolutionize the way companies have transacted business in the 22nd century.
We really believe that. I mean, it's been an amazing experience through the mentorship that I've got building the organizations at a young age. I attribute a lot of my success to those experiences, and I was able to take some of those talents and do other things with it. But deep down in my heart, I want to get back in this industry. And I told Apolo when we met a number of years ago, as we started to be successful in different vertical markets. We've been involved in different things, from natural resource projects to food and beverage and all these different things globally. We said deep down, let's do something that we really believe in, that we can be 100% of ourselves to give back. And
that's sustainable. That lasts, right? That our kids can be a part of. And they could be proud, hey, my father helped create this company, and we are now also changing lives, right? Generational. Companies like that, people don't have that in mind, right? And that's a sole focus for both of us.
It was a 3-stage process, and first it started with the right product, and we traveled all around the world looking for that right product, and because we knew we wanted to do something, and literally around the world, in Europe and Southeast Asia and all these different unique parts, looking for what we believe would be the next thing. And throughout our research, a number of years, we found undoubtedly the brain was by far the most overlooked and the fastest growing sector of the nutraceutical space. But more importantly, something that we had just understood deeply, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to perform better, like Apolo was talking about, and how we did that it all starts with the brain. You know better than anybody else, Jesse, that diets, a lot of them don't work because it's all in your head. If you've got your mind right and you control that, and you're operating at peak performance, and you're at that heightened state of consciousness as much as you can be to make the best decisions you can make every single day, what type of improvements would you make in the quality of life and the way you live? It would be incredible. It would be awesome. You'd be almost ideally become the perfect version of yourselves. And so we took that process and created what we talked about with Mastermind. And that's just a part of our program. We want to take it a step further. we thought coaching was an important part. Because when I grew up in the business, and what I do with my children now is mentorship, I think is extremely important. And the values that you teach your kids and you pass along is just part of it, but really how you think and how you look at life and how you look at success and what it really means. And if you study success, which most of us have, and you look at all the clues that's left behind, there's certain patterns that these successful people do. And we want to take those patterns and put it together in a process that's very simple for people to be able to assimilate and apply to their own lives. We want to create a program not to get people to join our company or buy our product, but really something that could enhance whatever their dreams were. We're not trying to imply what we want for them. We want to help them and empower them to become the best they want to be at, whatever they choose to be at. And that's what we truly believe in. If you like to do sports, fantastic. If you're in the medical profession, be the best doctor in the world. You want to be in education, be the most amazing teacher. Whatever it is, you want to be a student, be the best student, get the best grades, perform at the highest level. So how do we do that? And part of it was the products, the other part was the training. And so we spent as much time and effort and money looking for the best people to help us develop that program. There's very few people in the world that are global leaders that are able to not only have hundreds if not millions of people follow them, but able to have the influence to put them through certain processes to help them succeed. We had spent just as much time looking for those people to help us create what we believe to be an amazing product, the 28-day mind hack, to go along with our supplementation. So not only nourishing the brain, we're putting a very simple coaching system together so people can put both of those together to really rewire, rehack, and recalibrate the way they think and do things.
Somebody watching this video might be saying, wow, here's a couple of unbelievable entrepreneurs, one of the most recognized names on the planet, Apolo Ohno. I've got to get involved in this company. What does that look like? What's that journey look like? How did they get started with Allysian? What would their next steps be?
I think, well, first of all, we're launching very soon. Our soft launch is February 28th, and there'll be the opportunity for people to start that Brain Hack Challenge. We've simplified that process using and leveraging all the latest technologies of today. We understand people are busy. We have an entire development team just working on an app to make it very simple, mobile friendly, where if you're using an iPhone or an Android, you can simply download our app. It reminds you to take the pill, to be on a certain schedule with that, to be able to download our training modules. And these are modules that have been specifically designed to be used to help people really become better. These are topics that are applicable to everyone's daily life to be more efficient. And it's an amazing program that we've created. So yeah, they would simply just get on our site and be part of that program.
Okay. Apolo, how many people would you like to join you on this journey over the next couple of years?
Oh, that's, well, we have our internal company goals, obviously. We have to have realistic projections. But if you give me a magic wand, it's global. Mm-hmm. Every single area of the world. At some point, I'd like to be able to give our products to those type of arenas in every country that has its extremely poor demographic areas where they can't afford the product. Well, that's okay. We're going to help give the product, give you the opportunity, give you the tools, give you the coaching skills necessary so you can perform. This isn't for the upper echelon market. This is going to be for everyone. At some point, that's what I would love to do. So what number? It's in the millions, mm-hmm. For sure. It's in the millions. And I think the difference now, when you look at nutraceutical industry and you look at the MLM industry, I had a house in Utah. I lived in Utah. And for people who don't know, Utah has been the multi-level marketing hub or mecca for many, many years, right? And so when I was living there for training, every single week, Jesse, I would get hit up with a phone call, with a text message with, hey, I need you to meet with this guy, I need you to meet with this group, incredible new MLM, breakthrough technology. And so when I first moved there, the first year, I literally spent, at once, twice, 2 times a month, hearing all these new opportunities. And I started to notice a kind of a pattern, a trend, that these things would pop up kind of left and right. It was wild. And so I said to myself, well, how can all these new technologies be started up? What kind of clinicals do you have? Does the product work? Do you take the product? How long have you been producing this for? What kind of validation do you have? Why are you trying to sell me? Are you an athlete, or what's the synergy here? And they were simply businesses to make money. And that's fine. I get that aspect. But I didn't want to be a part of it. So something was missing for me in terms of that synergy. And now we have this massive, and you understand this better than anybody, Jesse, the social media world, the tech world, the online, the web space, digital mobile has been and will be the place to do business. The future is not tomorrow. The future is already here. Companies are doing this today. And it's my goal to be one of the pioneers within this MLM space or nutraceutical space to take advantage and really truly utilize that platform to its advantage to reach the mass millions. If I can't fly to every single city in the world over the next 50 years, you know what? That person has a cell phone, they can see our product, they can see the video, they can see this interview, and they can get empowered through their mobile tablet device. Now that is interesting to me. Instead of reaching 5,000 people over a week, you can now reach 5 million, 10 million, 20 million a day, right? You quantify that, that is when you make a real big difference, and it's instantaneous results. You can see people who are wanting to be better, but are simply, this guy lives in Cambodia, this person lives in a remote area in Slovakia, but you know what, they have an internet connection, they know the website, and they know this is the go-to place when it comes to improving human performance. I wish I had that 20 years ago, right? I mean, I wish I could watch some of the Korean skaters, some of the Canadian skaters, and learn from them to really analyze. My father, I grew up in Seattle. I used to drive to Vancouver, BC. That's where I learned how to speed skate. I had to see it in person. And still to this day, there's nothing that beats that face-to-face interaction. But for the time being, technology is so incredible. Why not use it to our company's advantage? Right. And that's what I was talking about. I said, you know what? There's an old school approach to this business. There's a new school approach. We're gonna marry them all. And I think that's when we're going to, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to see the biggest impact.
You know, you said 20 years ago, hindsight is wonderful. I wish I would have bought Apple stock 20 years ago.
Yeah, we all did.
But I can't help but feeling I'm looking at not much nicer, kinder, gentler versions of Steve Jobs' twins redesigning an old industry. I think this is an intersectional idea. I think what you guys are doing is brilliant. It's cutting edge. It definitely has the X factor. And I think Allysian is going to redefine the way an industry worked for many decades. And it's time somebody did that. And I want to commend both of you for having the courage, the power, and the foresight, not just for yourselves, but for all of us, giving us an opportunity to go along for the ride. Very, very honored to have Rod Howe and Apolo Ohno as my guest today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you so much, Jesse.
Jesse Dillon, coast to coast, worldwide on The Good Life, company to watch, Allysian.